Hi, and welcome back to CommonTime Productions. Mary here, and I'm going to show you today how to use Slate drums with Mixcraft 10, and then I will show you how to set up recording your guitar to track over a track that we make from some of the Slate drums. Such a wonderful product that Slate has made here. If you've never had any experience with it, it's wonderful. It has a free version that you can check out. It comes with a lot of really great grooves and things that you can use right out of the box, and some really good sounding drums right out of the box. Alright, if you've downloaded Mixcraft and this is the first time opening your project, here is our project launcher. We're going to click New, and we're going to quickly save our project so we have it saved. And if you don't already have an instrument track loaded, we can go ahead and right click, and you can click Insert Track and select Virtual Instrument Track. We're going to use the one that already is here, so let me make this a little bigger. I'm going to click this right here, and we are going to go look for Slate. And if you look, we have a category for VST instruments, so if we click on it, it'll help us narrow down all of them that are in here. Scroll down on the right, and we're going to see SSD sampler here. So the first thing you'll need to do, though, is you'll need to select which drum set you would like to use. Today we are working on a song. It is a soft pop style song, and I'm going to talk about also some of the song structure, because it is the ABABCB structure, which is a classic pop song structure. So we'll get to that when I start putting the grooves in here. So let's select our drum, but we want something soft that's going to really complement what Sam's come up with today. And as you can see, we've got all the different kits over here. We've got categories, and we've got, if you wanted to swap out different ones, we've got different instruments. So since I want something soft, we're gonna go, well, let's try Modern Legend. Let's see what that sounds like. Now, I'm just using my mouse to make them trigger, but you can actually plug a pad in and play them. You can come in here to the map, and you can re-put different drums on different triggers here. I can get into more in-depth on another video about those kinds of things. You also can come in and change around some of the way that it's mixed if you want to get into actually mixing it inside of Slate. I also have a way that I bounce stems down and I do mixing on top of them. I like this drum sound. We're just going to go with this one today. And so let's come down to the grooves. This is the transport down here. When you're looking at your different ones, this is kind of the one we decided that sounded kind of good for what we're working on today. There's a whole bunch of different ones in here, and you're going to have a bunch of these basic ones in the free sample pack. You wanted beat shuffle or a straight. Let's just click this one. As you can see, we've got them broken down into hi-hat closed, ride cymbal, and so these are kind of the prominent parts of this backbeat. So when you're playing a drum set, you know, a hi-hat pattern is going to be a lot more technical than just keeping the hi-hat closed and playing a simple riff. I find the easiest way to use Slate is to turn on this looping function and to click autoplay, so that when you click on your beats, it automatically starts playing them for you. So if you're sitting there with your guitar in your hand and you wanted to play and root around on here looking for different beats, it's the most efficient way I've found for our process. So as you can hear, the closed versus the pattern, they do have a little bit of variation. A lot of times if you click on the ones that are pattern, or so let's say if we come into the pop one, like where we're looking today, we've got some patterns, some closed, we've got some cowbell stuff in the pre-chorus and chorus. And again, what's wonderful about Slate is he's already broken down into different sections. So if you are following a song format like we are today, it's really easy to get in here and select which ones you want for each song and each section. Okay, so we're going to select a tom fill for the intro so that it's nice and short and quick for Sam to just jump on in. In the future, we'll track some better intros and outros and talk about how we can make those really stand out, because sometimes an intro can be what makes or breaks a song. I think that fill sounds kind of cool. Some of these other ones are great too. I think I'm going to go with this one though, because it's nice and quick and just a fun little jump in there. I'm going to move in Steven Slate, the user interface, onto my other screen so that I can show you the Mixcraft side of things. Okay, and then I'm also going to trim off this end space that they have at the beginning end of this. And so our verse, we're going to start this on number 2. And when you go to add a marker, you right click and you can add the marker. We can change the color. I'm going to leave mine green. That's fine. So we're going to hit OK. And since we're following the ABABCB structure, the verse comes first. And so we're going to pick our verse now. And let's come back over to Steven Slate. Turn our autoplay on. Scroll up, and then we're going to listen to some of our verses. Okay. So a tip, turn off autoplay before you start dragging and dropping into your session, because otherwise it'll keep playing and loop and it gets kind of a little hectic after a second. So we're going to drag it over here. And so we've got 4 measures. And then I know that we want to give Sam quite a bit of space for his verse. You could also click this plus to add it there. So this is going to give us our full verse. Okay, so this is your standard 16-bar verse. And then if we following the pop structure that we've determined, we're going to add our chorus next. So I'm going to add my marker there. And again, right-clicking to get that. And so then we're going to come back over here. Oh, I really like that one. Okay. We need to do our chorus a couple of times, and that'll be pretty good to then come back into the verse. So we'll click that plus, we'll add another one. And we're going to add our verse 2. And then afterward, we're going to go back in and we're going to add some tom fills in here to kind of give Sam some indicators of when he's supposed to turn back around. And then here before the chorus, the tom fill will also signal him that it's time to go into the chorus. So that's another real handy way if you're listening to drums, is the toms and the cymbal crashes and those fills are what signal you to change or signal you to, move to the next section. And so since we've already picked our verse, what we're going to do is we're going to copy these and put them over here. Since this one was loose, let me show you a little Mixcraft trick. If you select both of the tracks, you right-click on them, you can actually merge them together, which is very wonderful. And as you see, then it makes it one whole track. And I like to leave them in separate sections in case I decide to take the chorus and put it down on another track if I want to add a different effect on that track. So we can talk about that later, but at the moment we're going to copy this one and we're going to paste it over here into verse 2. Okay, and then following our pop structure, we are now going to put the chorus back again one more time, and then we're going to add our marker. Right click, add marker. All right, and so then there's that chorus. Now, this is the next section we're going to add is the bridge. And that's according to the pop format. That goes right here. I think that in the bridge, because the song he's playing is a little softer, I think I want to back off a little bit and not have as many cymbals and snare. I want to leave a lot of room for other instruments, strings, other cool, fun things to add into the bridge to give it more emphasis. Solos of other instruments. So if I come back over here to Stephen Slate and I scroll down on the right here, I see that we do have some bridge options. Now, I don't know if I want a cowbell because, again, I want something that's not going to be distracting and kind of just be support. So I think I'm going to pick one of these toms. So let's listen to what they sound like. I think what I'll do is I'm going to make the bridge about the same length as the chorus. But I think I'll use both toms. I like them. So let's do the first one. And then its fill is a little bit different than the second one. So when we put the second one in here, it's going to have a different fill, signaling the change back into the chorus, which is technically the out of the song according to a format like this. So we can just copy and paste that chorus again. Control V. You could also do it on here like you just saw. All right, so let's add our flag here, marker. All right, and then we can add another thing for an outro. I think what we'll do is we'll just do another tom out. And so let's just do one like this. Yeah, that'll be just fine. And so we'll put that here. We're going to add our flag. A lot of times it's nice to leave a little bit of space at the end. And I add a marker at the end, and I'll show you why I do that. Because when I have the end like this, if I were to hit the loop button, because when Sam goes to track, it's automatically going to then put the playhead back at the beginning so that he could keep tracking. When you go to set up your microphone or your guitar instrument track, which is actually what we're doing right now, you would actually click on this and we're going to select the microphone input or instrument jack input. I'm going to select right because that's the one we're going to have Sam go through. And we're going to name the track Sam Guitar. And we can do that for these as well. We're going to name these drums. Okay. Now, those toms that I was talking about, we got to go add in there. Let's add them in real fast. So if we know that our verse is 16 measures, we know that it's going to start over again at the measure 10 right here because we've got 8 measures. We normally would put a fill. It's going to be, right here in the middle of the 8 measures. And then again, when we change to go to the verse again, a lot of times, a lot of guitarists or musicians are going to play a verse and their riff is going to repeat, twice or 4 times or 8 times, depending on what kind of riff it is, if we break this down in subdivisions. And I can get into way more depth in another video, but at the moment, we're going to give him some place markers to know where to change. So let's listen to this measure right here. Okay, so it did kind of a little fill there if we listen to that 4 measures. There was a pause, a little hiccup thing there. I kind of like that. That's cool. We can leave that. So we're only going to do this one that's down here in the middle of 9 because this will be at the end of that 8 measures into 10. And so another handy trick of Mixcraft, you can actually right-click on the track and press the split key. We'll zoom in a bit so we're not touching those buttons. And we're going to do that again. We're going to right-click, click split. And so now I can take out that fill that's kind of underwhelming. And so we're going to delete it. I'm going to come back over to Stephen Slate. And I am going to listen to see what other ones I like. Let's see, I think I ended up... Okay, so that was the one from the intro. And then, so let's hear what is... Okay, that'll be perfect. That's fine. So we're going to take that one. I'm going to drag and drop that on top. And if we click on it, we see this one also has that little tail. We're going to trim that off by dragging and dropping it down. And so now we've replaced that tom fill. And I think I like that. So let's do that again at this end as well, right before going into the chorus. You can also select it like that. And we can split it that way as well. I'm going to get rid of it. And then copy and paste it over there. And since we know that our verse now is the same, and that we like it, now where it is, now we're going to merge it one more time, and I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to come back over here. I notice when this loop is on, this blue is up here, and it kind of covers your flag colors. So then we're going to replace that verse. I like the choruses, I like the bridge and everything else, so those are the only two toms we'll replace right now. All right, let's give us a quick save, and then we're going to have Sam track over this. We've gotten him plugged in. All right, Sam, give us a sample here, or a sound check. All right, so now that we see that we have an input and it's armed, we know that we want to have it on this right track. And what's nice is for recording mode, we're going to actually select takes. And as you see, we've got overdub and replace. So when you're recording, when you have it on loop and it goes back, the playhead goes back to the beginning, when you have it on takes, it's going to make you another line inside of this track so that it doesn't record over what you've just previously recorded. If you select overdub, it's going to, track over the previous one or on top of it. And then replace is what that means. It just replaces over it. It just deletes what you did before. And then, so if you're the kind of person that likes to go through it 4 or 5 times, kind of like Sam is, he likes to keep all those takes, and then sometimes he will comp together the best of those. And so that's a very efficient way to work as well if you don't get it all in the first try. So we are going to be back at the beginning here. I did a quick save. Sam is ready to go, and he's going to track the song for you to the drums that I just made. And I hope that you enjoyed my in-depth Stephen Slate tutorial. I think I'll even make a more in-depth tutorial here soon for you that'll also go into stuff like using trigger and how to swap out samples that you've taken from a drum set for your own, and adding them into Stephen Slate. Another thing we might want to add on for Sam is some things that he can listen to while he's tracking to kind of give him the feel that he is playing through an amp or something like that. He has headphones and a guitar, and we are plugged into the interface, but sometimes just hearing your raw audio signal isn't always what you want to kind of go with. And I'm very blessed to be able to actually have the full Waves bundle, and I absolutely love tracking live with some of these plugins. They're amazing. I highly, highly, highly recommend checking them out. They've been working wonderful with Mixcraft. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to load up the guitar tool rack from Waves. This is a great quick way to get a wonderful sound. So just right out of the box, we're going to go straight to the presets, and we are going to have Sam be monitoring. So we're going to click the monitor button so that he can hear himself. Now you guys can all hear him. Okay, and so that's a little bit of the song. It's kind of the vibe. So I think we need to pick something that's, nice and going to sound real nice for that. Just to give you an idea, let's click tremolo just to see what it's like. Let's see, it's got some stomps, an amp selection, a tuner that's in here. Sam tuned already beforehand, so we won't show you that part, but go ahead and... But maybe we're going to go with something else. All right, we can turn off the delay here up at the top. I don't know if I like that EQ, so we're going to turn that off. Let's turn down some of these. Go ahead and keep playing, Sam, for me. Let's check our amp. We're going to select warm instead. All right, and what I did was I was changing the kind of cabinet that we had. And I'm going to change the microphone a little bit. Go ahead and keep playing for me, Sam. All right. Sam, does that sound good to you?
Sounds great.
All right. Well, we'll just go with that. As you can see, you can really get lost in playing with different settings and different presets. But since we're just jumping right into a mix, we're going to just go right in.
Way too fast.
Seems a little fast. Let me show you how to change that real fast as well. Down here, we've got our standard default is 120 beats a minute. From ear, this sounds a little more like 105, 110. So let's try that. Let's try 105 first. There you have it. Then, like I said, we can clean up the ending. We'll probably trim that off. We are going to turn that off of grid because that can then let you click anywhere instead of being snapped to the grid. And we're going to just split that. We're going to delete that note at the end. That was a couple of funky ones. And we're going to add a fade on here at the end as well. And Mixcraft, if you hover over envelopes here, you can see we've got some options for fade out. And I think I kind of want to do a middle of the road, and then we'll see how it is, because then you also have this thing in the middle here that you can make it more of a shorter fade or a little bit of a longer fade. And so we'll kind of leave it in the middle for a second and see what that sounds like. We love making music. We love bringing you some fun entertainment and teaching you how to use some of these great tools. Hope you enjoyed our tutorial course on using Stephen Slate drums with Mixcraft 10. See you next time.